Okay, let's try this. I don't know how well this is going to show up here, and I apologize for the shaky cam. I'm actually mounting my Galaxy S2 onto one of my lights here. But anyway, a user over in the forums was saying how much slower the 7.7 is compared to the Galaxy Note. And I respectfully disagreed. Not on the basis that the hardware is any different, because inside they really aren't. I mean, they're both the same, right? They're both running at the same clock rate out of the box. They both have the same RAM. Both have the same GPU. Everything inside these two devices is about the same. The difference is the Note is still running Gingerbread, whereas the 7.7 is running Honeycomb 3.2, which, as some of you may or may not know, includes hardware acceleration for the UI, so transitions are exceptionally smooth and quick, especially when you're using something other than TouchWiz, because TouchWiz is just painfully slow. Now, I've tried to get these two set up in as much the same way as I can. They're both running ADW EX launcher and not TouchWiz, and they both have more or less the same UI settings. And once the Note is cached, when you come to the home screen, it's not so bad when going from one screen to another compared to the Galaxy Tab 7.7. They're more or less on the same page there. But when you pinch to zoom to go to a different home screen, it's not quite on the same level of smoothness that you get with the Galaxy Tab 7.7. I'm not sure how well the camera is able to pick it up, but especially when you're looking at the two in person, is definitely noticeable. It seems like the Galaxy Tab 7.7 is just running more consistently at a higher frame rate. Another example of where this is especially visible is when you try and bring up the the app drawer. So I'm going to try and hit these both at the same time, and hopefully you'll see a difference. So there they are, more or less both the same kinds of apps. There's the notes scrolling, and it looks pretty smooth on the camera, but it's running at about 30 frames a second. It looks like it's locked in right about there. Whereas with the 7.7, it is locked in at a nice, quick 60 frames a second, and it is very, very responsive. So, yeah, you can see a little bit more chop there. You'll probably see it a little bit more when you come out of the app drawer and you go back to your home screen. Let's try and do this at the same time, as close as I can. Yeah. Now, let's see. Let's go into the stock browser for both of these devices. Actually, no. Let's go into Dolphin, because that's what I prefer. And that's where you can see the biggest difference in at least web browsing performance. So let's get these shortcuts up here. We'll go to Facebook on both. Hit the 7.7 a little sooner. So as far as loading up the web pages, they load up at more or less the same speed, which is sort of to be expected. It's really when it comes to smoothness of scrolling that you notice a little bit more of a difference. You can't really see it as well on the camera, again, because it's running at about 30 frames a second on the Note. But on the Galaxy Tab, the 7.7, it is, I mean, I haven't seen this kind of smoothness anywhere else except for maybe on like an iPad or something. And the note is just ever so slightly a lot more choppy. The only exception is when you're using the stock browser on the Note, because that is hardware accelerated. Samsung has retuned that, so you will experience better scrolling and pinch to zoom on the Note when you use the stock browser. But I'm not a big fan of that personally. I've always been a big fan of the Dolphin browser, especially on tablet, and I just think it's still even in a beta stage right now, and it's so well thought out. The swipe from one side to get to your bookmarks is brilliant. Even though you have tabs at the top there, can't really see it because the camera's got it cut off, you have access to it here. You can add more. And a little hidden feature that I discovered myself is if you use two fingers and you scroll from the edge of the screen, you can quickly switch between one tab to the next. But the cool thing about it is this. That's right, 3D interface. Pretty cool. And it's pretty quick. Granted, this is still in beta, so it's not as fast as it could be, and I don't know why it keeps on bouncing back like that, but that is not a feature that you will get with the non-beta, non-tablet version of Dolphin browser. So if I go ahead and let me just open up another website, let's just go to Speakeasy Speed Test. And you try and do this, it does nothing. And here you can see, I'll go to Speakeasy Speed Test on this one too. I'll show you just what I'm talking about as far as the difference in smoothness. So let's just do a double tap to zoom in on this flash content here on the Note, and now on the 7.7, and out again. So that's pretty obvious. Pinch to zoom, zoom in, scrolling up and down on the right side of the tab, pretty smooth. Let's go back out. Same thing on the Note. And you can see it's pretty shaky. So definitely a different experience on both. Anyway, I just wanted to show, oh well, let's just go back to the home screens on these. Helps to hit the home screen, but oh, yep, there we go. Yeah, there is one thing that the Note does win out on the tab 7.7 is that is switching back and forth between apps. It seems to cache things a little better, but I've only really noticed that lag going from one app back to the home screen, and that's about it. Other than that, oops, didn't want to do that. Let's go back to the home screen again. Other than that, the UI is still not quite as quick as what you would get on the 7.7. So there you go. It looks like it's at 30 frames a second. The camera shows this as being pretty smooth, but there's definitely a noticeable difference between the two side by side. See, it goes so smoothly on this one, the camera blurs it, and that doesn't happen on this. As you can see, it doesn't get blurred. This does. This just goes so smooth. Anyway, that should hopefully be educational for you guys. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Bye.